Hello again, I'm DC Wood, hope you're all well wherever you are. I'm cracking on with my reviews of the Arrowverse. This week we are covering the very elite here, Arrow Season 2. Right, Arrow was renewed for a second season during its first, following strong ratings and critical acclaim. Premiering on the 10th of October 2013, Season 2, like the previous season, ran for 23 episodes, with the finale airing on 14th of May 2014. Again, the show continued to average over 3 million viewers a week. After Season 1, fans just couldn't get enough of the show, and the best was truly yet to come in Season 2. Although Oliver Queen managed to finally defeat his arch-nemesis Malcolm Merlyn, he was unable to stop the undertaking, a series of earthquakes that ravaged Starling City. With his home now in ruins, his best friend Tommy Merlyn now dead, his family divided, and his mother in prison awaiting trial for her involvement in the Dark Archers plot, Oliver retreats back to Liarnu. However, his friends and teammates, John Diggle and Felicity Smoke, convince him to come home. The family company Queen Consolidated is under threat of hostile takeover. The people of Starling City are rioting, and the already damaged city still needs saving. Oliver must bear with the fresh scars and once again become someone else. And to honour Tommy's sacrifice, Oliver must again become something else. But Oliver's past, his own sins, will always come back to haunt him, and in the shadows, Deathstroke lurks. In previous rankings of the Arrowverse seasons, I'd ranked Arrow Season 2 third overall. Only the first two seasons of The Flash have surpassed this, in my opinion. To get right to the point, this is Arrow's single greatest season. This is the absolute peak of the show's quality. If Arrow Season 1 is the Batman Begins of the Arrowverse, then Season 2 is Arrow's equivalent of The Dark Knight. Everything that made Season 1 so appealing is taken and improved tenfold. The choreography, the direction, the storytelling, the special effects, the music, the flashback saga, the pacing, the characterization, everything is somehow even better than before. After Season 1 beautifully established the world of Arrow, Season 2 takes the opportunity to build upon that world and take things to even greater heights. Obviously, the original cast are back and developed even further. You have recurring characters from Season 1 like Roy Harper, Colton Haynes, and Felicity Smoke, Emily Bett Rickards. They're promoted to series regulars here, and new players arrive like Isabel Rochev, Sebastian Blood. There's a great incarnation of Amanda Waller on here. And of course, we also get the debut of Katie Lotz playing Sarah Lance, Laurel's sister, whom Oliver had an affair with on the Queen's Gambit before it went down. And like Oliver, she was also presumed dead for 5 years before she returned as the Canary. Now, this rendition of popular DC superheroine, the Black Canary, it's presented fabulously here, absolutely fabulously. This is the beginning of Sarah Lance's legend here, and Katie would, of course, go on to be one of the Arrowverse's most prominent players. Everything feels so fresh and new, ever-changing. It expands upon the foundations of Season 1, and it begins to blossom and branch off into exciting new areas. The idea of superpowers is finally brought to the forefront with the threat of the Mirakuru, empowering human soldiers to incredible feats of physical strength and power. Of course, it all comes at the cost of their sanity. Oliver finds himself in situations where he's physically outmatched and has to rely on his strategy and his skills more than ever. And then, of course, the creative team sow the seeds for even greater things by introducing Barry Allen, Grant Gustin in The Scientist, which to this day is still in my top 10 episodes of Arrow. This is a fantastic episode. It advances the main plot, yet it also serves as a backdoor pilot for the spin-off show The Flash. The long-term plotting that the creative team had, it's exemplary, and it puts the scope and vision of the Arrowverse in the same category of the DC Animated Universe and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Obviously, the cast remain amazing, aided by Colton and Emily being given more time to shine than they were in season 1, and Stephen Amell remains as perfect and versatile as ever. Oliver Queen just grows from strength to strength, having grown wiser and more honourable during his 5-year exile, as well as the events of season 1. Oliver continues to evolve here, no longer a survivor and a killer who's mercilessly righting wrongs. The Arrow is well on his way to becoming a true hero. Of course, Tommy's death and the season 1 finale sacrifice really affected Oliver here, and it's great to see that he's trying to honour his friend's memory by renouncing his murderous ways. And again, it's all reflected beautifully in both the flashbacks and the present day to show how far Oliver has come. And of course, there is Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke. The flashback saga showcased how Oliver survived that fateful first year on the island, and how he ultimately formed an unlikely friendship with marooned soldier Slade Wilson. How Slade trained Oliver, how they became friends, that was all covered in season 1. And in season 2, the flashbacks show how Oliver and Slade's friendship fell apart piece by piece, and how Slade ultimately became Deathstroke. I've always loved the Deathstroke character. He's one of the greatest villains in all DC Comics and other media. He's been a fantastic arch-nemesis to the Teen Titans, to Batman. He's had some fantastic clashes with Superman in the DC Rebirth era. And Deathstroke in season 2 of Arrow, it's more awesome utilization of the character. Manu Bennett was also promoted to series regular following his strong performances in season 1. And this version of Slade Wilson, he's intense, driven, tragic, personal, monstrous, a relentless force of nature, which is everything the character should be. He's so powerful and brilliant to the point of being virtually unstoppable, and he systematically tears Oliver's life apart here, piece by piece. I thought John Barrowman's Dark Archer was amazing, and don't get me wrong, he still is, but Manu Bennett's Deathstroke to this day is one of the top 2 villains in the whole Arrowverse. He's written and portrayed perfectly here. This Deathstroke is a perfect arch-villain for Arrow, and Manu and Steven possess flawless chemistry, and as a result, it all just makes you root for the Arrow all the more. Everything just snowballs towards an epic, heroic finale, and that's what we get in Unthinkable, which is another of my top 10 episodes of Arrow. Unthinkable is not only high stakes and elating, but the way it seamlessly alternates between past and present for the season's conclusion, it's absolutely masterful, and it sums up this whole season, really. Absolutely masterful television. Now, I struggled to nitpick at Arrow season 1, and it's next to impossible to do so here for season 2. Any reasons characters have for being annoying, they're all justified here, and to see them go through all the ups and downs, it just makes them all the more compelling, really. Looking back on season 2, I suppose you could say it's sad in a way, because the show would never ever reach these heights again. It peaked far too early, and don't get me wrong, I really love season 5. Season 5 was absolutely fantastic, but but really it couldn't even that couldn't match the heights of the show's first 2 seasons. The only way Arrow could go was down after season 2, and unfortunately it did. And as amazing as the first 2 seasons of Arrow were, even these would be surpassed by The Flash. It's sad, but unfortunately it's true. Despite all that though, it's just tiny little quibbles really. Arrow Season 2 is one of the most essential pieces of television you will ever see, not just for superhero fans, but for the regular viewer as well. The Arrowverse began to blossom and soar here. The hits, the shockers, the glory, it all just kept on coming, and you can look back on Season 2 and think, yeah, this was perfection. Overall rating, I can't give it any less than 10 out of 10. I really can't. 10 out of 10 all the way. So, how would you rate Arrow Season 2? Please share your views in the comments below. I'm keen to discuss these shows, these seasons with you. And remember to click like and please subscribe. Join me again next week for the next review, which is going to be The Flash, Season 1. Looking forward to reviewing that one. See you again, guys. Take care. Stay safe.